Yeah. They always.
And I have more captains in place if we use as well. I can do that. You're just gonna see me.
Well, and.
Hi, guys.
Oh, wow. Check out the swag.
Hey, turn your, there you go.
Yes.
Move this chair so you guys can see them.
Yeah.
I'll try not to stand in front.
All right, so what is this?
Yeah, strong.
Very good. So it's those long metal ends that you've got to have. It sure is.
Good morning, everybody. Everybody have a chance to get some breakfast if you're interested. There's plenty, so if you're done, take them with you, or I will have to eat them, and I don't eat all of them. So please make sure you get some breakfast. For those of you that know me, my name is Lindsay DeWitt. I am an account executive with Cengage. Alongside with me today, I have my new district manager, Nicole Smith. And then all of you know the legend, Lindsay Leslie. So today we're going to be going over some of our English materials. I know you guys have used this in the past, so we're going to kind of revisit, talk about some different things with me on Zoom, because if you haven't looked at it, it's really hard to get into Lubbock during a Texas Tech UT game weekend. So we're doing some virtual stuff today. So we have Valerie Hartman, who is our marketing manager, and then we have Matt Philomonov, who is going to be our product manager. So they're going to be in the screen right over here. They're going to talk to us here in a second. And if you guys have questions, I will have a slide at the end. So if you think of anything, write it down. There's notepads in all of your little bags and some pens. You can take some really good notes. Okay, that doesn't work. That worked earlier. Yeah. Let's move you guys out of the way. All right. So just a quick overview. I introduced everybody already. So we're going to go over some product updates. Matt is going to be going over that, and then we'll also do a MindTap demonstration. Some of you have used MindTap in the past. Some of you have not. And we want to give an overview of MindTap. I'm going to talk about the textbook inclusive access program, just the service that Cengage offers, and then we'll go over any questions that you guys may have. So Matt, if you would like to, I will stop sharing my screen and you can take over, or do you just want to?
Yeah, why don't you just leave it up for the moment so I can talk briefly about the books we have up on the screen. Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Philomonov, and I'm the product manager for English here at Cengage. And it was kind of a fun fact, when Lindsay and I and Valerie spoke about this a little bit ago. It was like going down memory road, because my mom grew up in that part of the country. So lots of time spent in Andrews, Midlands, Odessa, and Lubbock. So at any rate, very nice to meet you this morning. I'm sorry that I'm not there to have pastries as well. I wanted, before diving into the discussion of MindTap, I just wanted to quickly touch base on the three products that we have up here on the screen. First, there is based on what we understand, this is what we recommend that you take a look at. There's the Glenn, the New Harbour's Guide, Genres for Composing. It is a very well-regarded, widely used textbook. We have others as well for a composition course. And then a nice kind of way to save your students some money is we recommend the MindTap English Handbook. It is purely digital, and it's a very low cost to your students. Now, I really wanted to focus here on Kerzner. My understanding is that in the past, you all have used the Kerzner book. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And you probably encountered a situation where, unfortunately, we had to take the digital product away. Am I remembering things correctly for South Plains College?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that's basically right when I started, and it was a wonderful situation to walk into. And I was like, what did I step into? Well, I'm sure it was more traumatic for you all, but it was definitely traumatic for me. I'm walking in the door and I'm immediately getting hit over the head with a hammer. So let me explain what happened and why it's not going to happen again. First, I want to let you know that we have a new edition of Kerzner coming out in spring 2023. So just probably 6 months away or so. It's a little hard to say at this point. And we can provide Lindsay with all the information on the new edition, the readings that are included, the organization, and things of that nature. So that's the good news. And to layer on top of that, we will also have, we're pursuing just absolutely ironclad rights with this thing. So all the readings, everything in there, you will be able to adopt with confidence, knowing that nothing as disastrous as what happened in fall of 2020 will ever happen again to you. So what happened? Long story short, the rights for the Kerzner book were higgledy-piggledy. They were, which is in part a nature of the rights process. So, and this was a learning process for me as well. So when you go to get, the rights to fences or something along those lines, you discover that there are multiple rights holders. There might be a rights holder for the US or the world, but excluding the English-speaking world, or very common, there'll be UK Commonwealth versus the rest of the world rights. And someone else may own the digital rights and things of that nature. And all of that was a complete mess with the Kerzner book. I can assure you that moving forward, we are pursuing absolutely ironclad rights. So minimum terms are 7 years, 500,000 users. Like it's really what happened to you will not happen again. And I'm happy to answer any questions about Kerzner or what happened or anything of that nature.
And
Okay.
Matt, I was going to have questions at the end. I told them to write them down. So
Okay.
if we have questions at the end, we can touch back on that.
Sounds good. And please forgive me for drinking coffee. I drink far too much of it, I'm sure, but it's I think it's the least of the bad addictions to have is coffee. So I resign myself to that. Lindsay, if it's okay, I'll just dive right into presenting MindTap if that works for you.
Yeah, let me stop sharing my screen so you can have the ability to share yours.
Excellent. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Every time you do a presentation, Windows needs to update.
Oh, yes.
Every time.
Lindsay, you are still sharing your screen. I can't
Okay.
share. There we go.
Sorry.
And hopefully you don't see a disastrous view of my email when I hit this button. Oh, good. It's just my desktop. Okay. So I am diving right into MindTap here. So first off, I'm not going to go over every feature and functionality with the platform. Lindsay can definitely provide training there. I understand some of you have used it in the past as well. And there's a lot in here. I can assure you it integrates extremely well into your LMS system. We have people that will help with that, people that help you set up your course and things of that nature as well. I wanted to demo some of the things that are unique to English about MindTap. And really, I'm going to focus on three things. And they really, I think, help you as an instructor deal with some common challenges that present problems for you in the classroom. So the first is, when I started, I went around and spoke to a lot of English instructors, and one of the things that came up fairly frequently was that you have these students coming in the door, and they have a range of incoming skills. Some are like Valerie, and she's college ready, is ready to write that essay day one. And then you have others like me, who can barely spell his last name. It's that bell curve distribution, but it creates some problems in the classroom because if you spend time remediating for Matt, you're doing Valerie a disservice. Additionally, a lot of instructors tell me they don't want to teach how to use the semicolon, for example. They want to focus on teaching rhetoric. And so to help you address this problem and take some of this remediation offline, if you will, we've created something called Just-in-Time Plus. So Just-in-Time Plus is think of it as a diagnostic where you can see where how your students are performing. The students get a report as well, so they know how they're performing, where they're weak, where they're strong, and then they can dive in, and you can assign this. Right now, it is, I think okay, it does say it counts toward the grade. I wasn't sure, I think I played around with some settings. You can assign this or make it practice mode optional, but then there are a series of modules that come with it. So after completing the pretest, students can go in and say, I think I said the semicolon. Okay, so you can come in here and maybe I scored extremely poorly on the semicolon. Okay, I can open this up. There's a video tutorial. I'm going to pop it open. I'll play like 2 minutes or not even a minute of it, just a couple of seconds because it's a video. And I'm going to kill the sound here. Oh, good. So it's just a little video overview because if the students maybe don't want to read, they can watch and listen. Additionally, there are some quiz questions baked in. So the students have to, you can check and see if they're engaging with the material. There's a written overview on the topic. So in this case, sometimes it's nice to read things in a different way than maybe a textbook covers it. And I'll just quickly click on things. I'm not really trying to go over this here. And then finally, there's a quiz that a student can take to check their understanding. So how are they performing here? Right now, it looks like everything here is set as counts towards grade, but that's easily modified. Like you can create the pretest is assigned and then everything else is optional, however you would like to do it. And then there's a post-test as well. So maybe you can see, okay, here's how Matt did at the start of the course, and here's how he did after working on Just-in-Time Plus. And the nice thing here is you can really take this offline. Like this does not need to occupy your class time. So you can focus on teaching rhetoric, on teaching what you want to teach, but you're not getting buried by trying to individually remediate 35 students or however many you have in a section. Okay. So again, I'm happy to answer questions on this. I think Lindsay wants those at the end, but I'll be here for that. We also have something, and this is new to MindTap, and I'm not sure that everyone's aware that we have it. It's called the Gale College Collection. So this is in every English MindTap. And by the way, the things I'm demoing are in every English MindTap. So you don't need to worry about, oh, do I have to use this specific one? It's in all of them. So again, going back to those conversations I had with English instructors when I started, it was very clear to me that English instructors, you all like to make the course your own. Like, let's pretend instead of being students, Matt and Valerie are teachers. Well, maybe I have something set up, you know, I'm a history buff, so I throw in I want to bring in some history into my English course, my composition course. But Valerie is, I'm making this up, Valerie. So Valerie is really, you know, she's really into outdoors things. So she wants to bring in outdoors things into her course. And the Yale College Collection allows you to do that very easily. So I'm gonna show you some features of it. And again, I can answer questions. So in this case, this is a database of over 38 million readings, periodicals. There are plays in here. There are poems. There are short stories, and there are also like science journals or something. Maybe you want to give it a STEM type feel. You can easily do that. But in this case, I know that I want to bring in Anne Bradstreet into my course. So I search here, and there are a variety of filters. You can apply multiple filters. So you could say, I'm looking for this specific work by Anne Bradstreet or something like that. And I just want, in this case, I just want primary sources, because I don't want like a literary analysis of Anne Bradstreet, because hey, it's Comp 1. I just want to bring in like a play or a poem rather that I think is really meaningful. So I search for it. Okay, here are the works, the primary works by Anne Bradstreet. Okay, so I'm going to bring in Upon the Burning of Our House. No idea, but I'm going to bring it in. So you can see it brings me right to Upon the Burning of Our House. And I'm going to stop here and demo, like I'm showing you how you can bring this into your directly into your MindTap course, and you can put this in your LMS. But there are some things specific here that I really want to show off because I think they're important. So one thing that I hear a lot is sometimes there are non-native English speakers in the composition course, and you want to be able to give them the full experience. So this is a really cool feature. There's this translate button, and you can see tons of languages, but the one I always demo is Spanish. And you can see it goes directly into Spanish. And I'm going to go to the next page, and it keeps that setting that the student has made. And this is, the students can control this. I did check to see if you can go directly, like, can you link something in Spanish and it will show up in Spanish, and actually it just shows up in English. It remembers it based on the student's preference. The other thing that's kind of cool is we're in this book with the Oxford Book of American Verse, and maybe you want to explore another author, and you can see all the different things we have in here. So we've got some Ralph Waldo Emerson. Okay, so I'm going to jump over there, and you can use the table of contents to jump around, but I'm actually going to go back to Anne Bradstreet. I'll just pick this. And then there's also, if you're like me and your eyes aren't as good as they used to be, you can increase the font size.
Thank you.
Yes, all of us of a certain age are like, yes, thank you. So the other really nice thing, and students love this, is there's an auto citation. So, and this is especially tricky when you're citing something from a website. So you can select MLA, APA, Chicago, and Harvard. So let's say I want APA, maybe that's really important at your campus. You just select, and you can just copy that. And so the students, it gets easy for them to build their bibliography, which is great when they're writing their papers. One other really cool thing here that I'll share, and then I'll get back to adding this to your course. There's a read speaker here as well. So you can, I'll just do this for a second. Theoretically, it should start in
the author to her book.
There we go. I don't know if you could hear that, but it is robot language, but it is in here. And I can assure you that this platform has been designed with the best principles of accessibility. So if you have any concerns about accessibility issues on campus, you can add these in. It works with screen readers. You can read to them even if they don't want that. And so it's a very nice resource. Now, If you would like to add this to your MindTap course, you just come up here and you click Get Link. Select, whoops, copy, and I've got that link in my notepad, but I want to quickly point a couple of other things out here as well. You can download this, so a student can download this to their computer, which is nice. I think they can download it to their OneDrive or their Google Drive or whatever the Google Drive is called. Okay, so I've got the link, and I jump over here. I'm going to close this out, and I want to add this in, and I just go to add, create activity, and I would like, you need to create, it's a web link activity, and continue, and you can see it gives a little brief description here. You can edit this, and you can say, I'm going to just put in words here. So I've decided to do this. You can, description, when is it available? I'm going to make it available today. I'm going to give it a due date of 30th. And then I'm going to decide, I'm going to put this in chapter 1. And let's see, I want to put this before the practice activity. So I'm going to add this. Now I jump into chapter 1, and there you can see my link. So I've just added my link to my MindTap course. Now, one other thing about the Gale College collection, and then I promise I will move on. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here. But I'm going to go back to the advanced search. And your students can also use this as a research tool. Like you can hide this from your students if you're worried they're going to get overloaded by it, or you can. So here we go. I'm adding Shakespeare in, and then I'm going to make sure primary sources are selected. And so it comes up with a lot of different things. And there's something we have in here. So again, you can filter this by a variety of different things here. But again, I do have primary sources, start the topic finder. And there's this really cool kind of visualization that helps you explore things. So I want to look into dramatic person king. And then you can see, you can click on and get more detail out of each of these. And it pulls up in here, over here, some relevant readings based on what you have selected as a student. So again, just, I'll be blunt, I'm not the best user of the topic finder. There are people at Gale who are wizards with this, and I could definitely put you in touch with them if you wanted a little background on how to really get the most out of it. Okay, so moving right along, again, we have the full book is in here. There's a app version, so your students can download it to their phone. But the other thing that instructors have told me is there's concerns kind of about, really, there's a concern and then there's also a desire. So there's a concern about plagiarism and making sure that students are submitting authentic work. And there's also a concern about, or desire, maybe is a better way to put it, about having students engage in peer review. So the best way, or one of the ways I think to learn, is to try to explain something to someone else. And so, and I think peer review is in that ballpark, that same thing. Maybe you're not explaining it, but you are learning about it as you're providing criticism to your peers on their work. So in order to address this concern, we have entered an arrangement with the gold standard service, which is Turnitin. And you can see here, I have added a writing activity with a fantastic name of My Writing Activity. I'm sure you all would do a much better job, but you can click right in here and you, as soon as it loads, now I have nothing in here at the moment. because nothing's been assigned, but I can go over and click on, or nothing's been submitted rather. You can edit your options here, your start date, your due date, your feedback release date, so these do not need to be the same. You can have your feedback before the due date. So for instance, if you wanted to provide your students, I don't know what I was thinking with my dates, but this is how I set it up. If you wanted to provide your students like your feedback prior to them submitting their final draft, you can do that. Like you can provide feedback, submit it to them, and then they can edit their final draft based on your feedback. And then there are optional settings down here, which you can add your own custom rubric. There are a variety of different things, but you can see here, you can exclude or include certain things on your similarity report. It really is a very powerful tool. And I do have peer mark enabled for this. You can see I've checked this box already. And you can go over here and select the pre-mark settings as well. And it really is, I think I did a better job of, maybe I did not do a better job. It looks like I did a terrible job of setting this up, but you can, I'm not an expert on it, I'm sorry, but you can set the peer mark settings up to give yourselves, your students, the time they need to provide feedback. And then also you can provide feedback, and it's just a great resource here. And you can see the different things here. So this way you can give your students credit for both submitting their essay and then also providing feedback for their colleagues or their peers. The final nice thing, and the reason why I like Turnitin so much, is that the students are doing their work on, Microsoft Word, or the Google version of that, another word processor, so that if there's any hiccup or anything with the system, they don't lose their paper. Their paper is still there, and they can submit it. They just upload it to the system. There's not I'm typing it into the system, whoops, there's a glitch in the system, and suddenly I've lost all my work. And I think that's one really nice feature about Turnitin. Now, let me show you, and then I promise I will shut up. Let me show you how to add a Turnitin activity, because it is not native in our learning paths with MindTap. And there are reasons for that, but basically everyone assigns their own writing assignments. Like no two schools' writing assignments are identical, and or want to be placed in the same way. Some people may have multiple drafts submitted, some just one. So you just go to Add Activity, and then you jump down here to Insight to Writing Activity. And here we are. So this will be my second writing assignment, and graded 100 points. And then I'm going to make it available today. It'll be due in.
And everybody's familiar with Turnitin on this campus?
Yes, we have a subscription. We've been using it for many years.
Okay.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm never mind then. I will just.
We haven't seen it in MindTap, Matt, so it was good to see it inside of the MindTap from being its own separate license. So that was good. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. And I want to stress there are many other very nice things about MindTap that I could spend oodles of time speaking to. Like there are things in here which are organizers. So we have like thesis organizers, writing organizers, research organizers, and they're really just great tools to help students that may not think of themselves as writers to get started writing. And Lindsay can show you all those, or one-on-one or whatever, or we can do this again. But I just want to reassure you that there are oodles of other things in here that we could talk about. But I will. I feel like I've been filibustering, so I will say farewell for the moment, and I'll stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Matt. Valerie, you're sharing your screen next, or you can still see me?
I don't think I was. I think it was
Okay.
just going back to you.
Yep, perfect. Just want to make sure before I jump the gun over to you that we were. You sharing. I still want to see y'all's faces though. Wherever they went. Okay. Just kidding. Ready to share screen. Okay. Okay, so now we just heard from Matt, so now we're going to hear from our marketing manager, Valerie Hartman. Valerie, if I need to move slides over, just let me know.
Yes, so this is basically just sort of a wrap up of what you just saw, all that great stuff that is in the Mind Tab. And so I kind of think of this in terms of the 3 R's, right? First, you have that remediation piece with Just-in-Time Plus. It's the really core feature of the English Mind Tab, because again, there is the shell of Mind Tab, which exists for so many different disciplines, but the English Mind Tab, of course, has special things that were built for English instructors and students. And Just-in-Time Plus is one of those things. The next thing, the next R are readings, of course. And you saw with Gale College Collection in Mind Tab that you have access, as Matt said, to over 38 million selections in there that includes plays and poems and short stories and periodicals and runs the gamut. So all of that's available to you and your students as well. And then, of course, why do we do all this? It's for results for you and your class, and of course, the results for your students. So next slide, please, Lindsay. And this is what we call the Mind Tab effect, right? So these results are overall for Mind Tab. We from 2016 to 2021, we did like 60 case studies, and this is across disciplines again. But what we saw here was that, and this was I think 110 or 112 institutions, 12,000 students, you know, across all these courses. Forgive me if that's not the exact correct number, but I will let everyone know it's not. But what we saw here are that grades improved by 15% upon using Mind Tab. Students were 16% more likely to use the course, and 7 out of 10 students expressed better confidence and engagement upon using Mind Tab. And again, this is, you know, 2016 through 2021 was when this was compiled from. So not just 1 year, many years of results. And so we just wanted to share that with you. And Lindsay, I don't know if you were.
Yeah, I'm here. I want to make sure you have anything to add. So like any of our products, we want you to integrate things through Blackboard. So that is a piece that we will help everybody with. All of our products seamlessly move into Blackboard. We have the seamless user experience, so everything blends in. Your gradebook syncs over. Most of the time, everything usually works beautifully. You know, we live in a world of technology. There's always hiccups, no matter who you're using and what world we're in. There's always hiccups, but most of the time things work beautifully. The registration process, especially if you're using this in a textbook IA course, students log in, they immediately have access. They've already paid for it. There's no need to worry about finding codes. I'm not trying to cut out the bookstore because they're in charge of it too, but they don't have to walk over to the bookstore. So that
Friends too, right?
Yeah. Also, whenever it comes to the professor side of it, like we were talking about the content customization, the deep leaking. So having those linked assignments in your folder. So week 1 shows all those Gale readings we were just talking about. It talks about the prepping for looking at semicolons. You can put everything in weekly folders. And that is also a service. If you guys aren't aware, we can do that for you. So just an added bonus, we have a team that will set up your Blackboard course for you with all of your Mind Tab information. And then, like we were talking about earlier, the grade synchronization. So there's no need for you to export anything out of Mind Tab and manually import it into Blackboard. It all flows as students take assignments. So they don't have to worry about, is Mind Tab grade the real grade I have for your class, or is the Blackboard the real grade I have for your class? They know that those grades flow right into Blackboard. So this was actually in this folder. So if you didn't get a folder, please let me know. This is a list, and it's teeny tiny on this screen, so that's why I printed it off for you guys. This is a list of every single course at South Plains College that has used or is currently using Cengage. This is a very up-to-date list. So when I say has used, it's mostly used. So this goes across all disciplines. It's not just English, business, sciences. You've got social work, you've got welding, you've got cosmetology. There's a very large list of people at South Plains College that are using Cengage materials. And so to segue into that, you can see at the top of the paper that I sent what the average cost for students is on this campus. So $1,340 is the iPads data that students at South Plains College spend on their textbooks and their learning materials in the calendar year. So I'm more than happy to provide the information where I got that number if you guys are interested. So affordability is always our number one priority. I never ever want a student, especially it doesn't happen in English as much, but I really need to buy groceries, but I really need my textbooks. So which one do I pick? And that's never something that we want to have to encounter with our students at Cengage. Next is our dedicated team. So you saw here, you've got these three just in this room right now. I live here locally, and I know not everybody can say that. I'm in Loveland every single day. So multiple times a day. So I am always here and I'm able to help. When it says less than 90 minutes, 90 seconds, average wait time, we really mean that. We pump a lot of our resources into our tech support and into the training of our associates and making sure that we are able to take care of you as quickly and efficiently as possible. We do have a full team, so you're not just getting me, you also get Nicole. Sometimes you get Lindsay as a bonus. We have a digital success specialist who's part of that team that would be helping you build your course, helping you link your course into Blackboard. We also have our customer success manager, Jenny, who is also in Colorado. She'll be here in a couple of weeks. Next week.
Yeah.
She'll be here next week when flights aren't crazy. She is there to help with any kind of platform training, anything that you need help with on the other side of it. So you have a full team at your disposal all the time. I'm literally a phone call away, a quick drive away, anytime that you would possibly need us. So going from all of that, I know that was a lot and we jammed it in as you were eating your pastries, but if anybody has any questions for me or for Matt and Valerie while we have them on, this would be a great time to ask them. They are the experts and can answer any questions. Let me put them on the big screen so you can see their faces, if that's okay. Let's stop sharing. Okay, now you can actually see this.
Super. So I have a question about the availability of the text within MindTap. So I know we were looking at the Hard Race Guide, genres for composing. And I've used Cengage MindTap for several semesters now, a few years. And so what I'm wondering is, would we be able to have the Kersner and the writing guide all loaded into the MindTap interface? I know Just-in-Time Plus is a feature of MindTap. So whichever book I get, I'm going to have Just-in-Time Plus. Whichever book I get, I'm going to have now I can't think of the name, the word, your Gale collection, that's going to be there no matter what. But can we have multiple textbooks in there, and how is that affected by inclusive access?
Yeah, so I'll field this, and I have not the greatest answer in the world. So first off, everything that is in our catalog, with one notable exception, is available in a digital format, MindTap, ebooks, however you would like to have that delivered. And Lindsay will do a great job of making sure everything's set up correctly for you and you're aware of all those options. Cursor, unfortunately, we're in a bind until that new edition comes out. And that'll be in the spring. We do have a correlation between the Kersner book and what is available in the Gale College collection. And we can also provide you the PDFs of the pedagogy chapters for the Kersner books gratis, and you can just give those to your students. I'm happy to do it, as a service to your customers. But until that new edition comes out in the spring, we legally cannot distribute the various plays and poems in that book digitally. We just can't do it. So.
Yeah, that's not exactly what my question was, because I can appreciate what you're
sorry.
saying that. But when that digital is available, when the, the new edition comes out, would we be able to have a handbook and the Kersner book, or the handbook and some other textbook loaded into the MindTap, both available to the student through that one interface?
Yes.
Okay, super.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Um,
the.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yes, sorry.
Thank you.
They made
thank
you work they made you work way too hard for that one.
Yes, I should have interrupted sooner, but I was really enjoying your answers.
You and I emailed about this the other day,
Yes,
so
we certainly did.
it worked out really well.
Super.
Does anybody else have any questions? Comments?
There had been some discussion about Cengage Unlimited pricing and inclusive access and kind of been going around and around, not really for our textbooks, because we come in lower
Yes.
than the Cengage Unlimited.
Yes.
Or we did.
Mhm.
So I guess one question would be, what would be the app kind of price point for students with the bookstore markup with IA?
Mhm.
If we, let's say, adopted Kersner with a handbook or without the handbook, with MindTap.
I'm actually going to jump in here, and I'm sorry to do this, Lindsay. For the new edition of Kersner, we're actually putting a generic handbook in the MindTap. So it's a, I'll try to send Lindsay a product where you can look at the MindTap to see that generic handbook. It's not as comprehensive as something like, the Harbor East Essentials or the Keys for Writers, but it is like we're trying. Yes, so sorry.
So we would only need to have the Kersner, and then
To get the handbook part for one price. So it wouldn't be multiple leads.
and less cluttered information.
Definitely. And then pricing, I can get you exact pricing. I would have to send Tim the proposed pricing, and he can give me the bookstore markup and exactly what the IA pricing would be. And I can do that for multiple.
I'm getting it for you right now.
Never mind.
And also, I'm assuming that since this is through the MindTap, that's how we would connect it to our Blackboard course rather than through Vital Source.
Yes.
Yes.
We always want to pair courseware to Blackboard rather than through the Vital Source.
Right.
If we were just doing the ebook, that's when you would do Vital Source.
Yeah. Another thing that is extremely important is because Vital Source is so easy with, you're just using we're using the platform, the interface with MindTap or whatever other, platform that we're using. We're interested in how much on the front end, how much work it is to set up a new course every semester. And now you offer, and you know this, that you have a little team,
Yes.
but there are some things that have to be done, by us as well. And so it's the continuity of carrying over semester to semester. We're weary of rebuilding courses because of additions coming in and out, of the issues we had with MindTap. We feel like we're rebuilding things every single year or semester. And so we're weary of that.
Right. No, and understandably
And
so.
we are, just interested in making that process as easy as possible and as easy to replicate semester after semester.
Yes. Yeah, we can definitely replicate very easily. We copy courses on this campus, not specifically in English, all the time, and I will probably not great, but I have professors that will call me like 3 days into class and be like, can you actually copy my spring course for fall? My class started 3 days ago. I need to copy it. And that's how easy of a process it is. Like, it's so
I'm gonna speak though really quick to what Sharon's getting at, because I was here for some of that blissful periods. But
No,
yes, I get it. There were a lot of changes. I think that as the years have kind of gone on, or, here in the last little while, I think that continuity piece that you're looking for, that has changed. So there were a lot of changes happening for us in English. I think that consistency piece is now alive and well, where you would be able to do what Lindsay's talking about, and we wouldn't be coming to you and saying, okay, well, you've got to build a brand new course this semester, next semester, and every
Yeah.
semester moving forward. So I think that a lot of that has been resolved and
Yeah.
we'll hopefully
That's good
be in
to
a
hear.
situation where you can
Yeah.
semester over semester copy over, have us change the due dates for you. If you wanted to pull a new assignment in or whatever, we can do that for you, but I don't think that you'll be in a situation where you're rebuilding.
I have
Every
not
semester.
just my full-time faculty, about 18 of us here, but we also have adjuncts, we also have dual credit high school faculty. So all together, we have about 45 people. And a lot of them I don't see more than once a year.
Right.
Like our dual credit people, and they are beginning to rely quite a bit on our master courses for Comp 1 and 2, which we built. So there's already a learning curve for them to start using Blackboard, and we, we help them as much as we can in like a crash course at the beginning of the year. This is adding another layer if we were to adopt this as well. So it's adding another layer. Would this, I'm just saying there's possible that I would have to farm out. I can't do professional development on training on using MindTap, for example.
Right.
I could say, well, here's the master course, but if you want to tweak anything in MindTap, here, I guess I would have to have people designated that I could reach out to, because we have new people onboarding to dual credit every year, every semester. I have like 5 new dual credit high school instructors. They're brand new, some of them, to college teaching, right? Never used an LMS before, never used anything like that. So the learning curve on the front end is very heavy for a lot of our faculty. Our full-time faculty, they're phenomenal, and they will take on any challenge like that, because that's what they do and that's what they're wonderful at. But I have a whole other half of the department that I have to serve just as well with our resources. And so I want it to be something accessible and not scary for them.
Definitely understand that piece of it. And that's definitely where we add in that circle of like all the people that service you. So just off the top of my head, what I would suggest in that scenario, whenever we do have new faculty every semester, we offer in-person training for people that are local and want a refresher on MindTap. And then also that's whenever we can get these two involved if needed, or also Jenny and myself and Nicole, and we do a Zoom where we walk through, and we actually have people that is specifically their job is to train people, brand new people on MindTap. So specifically, whenever your English 0301 faculty in the spring, they just took on MindTap at the kind of the last minute.
Yes.
We set them up with, it's called a PIP, which is Partners in Publishing. So they do a one-on-one training with them. They usually take around an hour, and they walk them through all of MindTap, how to set their course, and then they also integrate it into Blackboard right there in front of them. And we can do those as many times as possible. I'm also versed in the process. They are specialists, so they're obviously going to be so much better at it, but I definitely can do this for them as well. So just know that there is that support piece for us, for all those new faculty turning and getting high school people in. I know that they've got a lot on their plate for the high schools, and they're not always accessible at the normal times that faculty on a college campus are. So we have flexibility with hours as well.
We
And
just
getting
wrapped up our regional office hours that we always offer, and that is for instructors and students. And that, like, for this fall, we ran them from the beginning of August, all that we've just finished last Friday. So, and that is like, what, 19 Cengage folks from this region are just waiting for people to hop into their Zoom room to help them.
So a lot of availability on the front end.
And also we have amazing training videos too, that we'll go to, or Lindsay will go to like self-learn with, like, oh, I don't know how to do that thing in WebAssign or something.
Yeah, and you can go through, and there's instructor videos, there's student videos, which student-wise, it's another piece that we do offer. No more COVIDs. I can come into your classroom and take 5-10 minutes of the first part of class and walk your students how to register. Most of them are IA, so it's a really easy process. But this is where I can walk into your classroom and I can say, hey, here's MindTap. Here's my card. Do not contact Lizzie Shelton. Do you have a problem with MindTap? Call me.
I love that part.
She's gonna be fielding. So that's the part that we are here to help your students in the classroom as well, and getting them set up with their courses, as well as the videos online. So if it's a Saturday night and you don't want to email me, you can. But if you want to look up something, we have so many great training videos, and they're broken down by instructor, what type of Blackboard you're using, what type of platform you're using, MindTap, and then it drills down into course guides, it drills down into specific videos for what exactly you're looking for. And if you can't find something, I make videos on my end and send them to people on how-tos on a regular basis. So all of that being said, we're here to help you. We want to set your courses up for success, and we want to make sure your students are not trying to deal with technical issues and they're actually learning. And you guys are spending your valuable time doing the fun stuff in class and actually teaching, and not dealing with the techie stuff and trying to do all this hard, difficult grading that you don't want to do in the middle of class. You want to do the fun stuff. So
I think, Sharon, to kind of like circle back on your question too, like, Jenny, our customer success manager, I deal with her a lot covering Texas Tech because there's a large, not adjunct population, but graduate student population.
Yes.
So kind of in that same scenario where it's like
Lots
the
of
revolving door
turnover.
of graduate students, which is great, right? Because they're all these degrees. And so Jenny and I work together, and this would be the same scenario with the coordinators or the chairs for those programs to put together unique training programs that suit the needs of each individual program, because every program is different, right? Like everybody operates at a different pace. So that's definitely something where just, I would put your mind at ease, because Lindsay and Jenny can have that conversation with you and say, okay, what are the specific needs? Like, where are all these schools? How can we best align this? Whether it's, okay, I can't remember what schools y'all feed into, but this school over here needs a Zoom from 3 to 4 on a Wednesday. These dual credit instructors need a Zoom from, can't do it in person, right? So they can put together a unique map for you every term to make sure that we're executing that in a way that they're getting what they need and taking that weight off of you, right? Yeah.
I will say, this is just a big kudos to Lindsay, because I keep a stack of cards on my desk. Both of you, you're both saying things. Lindsay made an effort to 2 times during the first week of class, she set up a table to help students not only register their codes, but also to troubleshoot anything that they needed to get their account set up. And we get bombarded with students, as I'm sure you guys do, saying, I can't figure out how to log in. I don't know what to do.
It's broke.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I give them Lindsay's card, and the issue is resolved less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like, it is always a super fast resolution. I have a stack of business cards, probably this thick, that we replenish quite often.
Yep.
So I will say that I know that some of the student support side that Lindsay is there and has provided excellent service for the students on our end.
thank you for that. Appreciate it.
It's the piece we can control to help you with.
Right, and her experience with Cengage support and you guys has always been thrilled. It's always been great. It was the breakdown of the technology itself, or the availability and the copyrights and that sort of thing, which just threw kids. So, I mean, yes, kudos to you guys for always being great at support.
We lost those digital rights for anybody that wasn't, whenever Matt said he just started, I had been at Cengage for a week. So I'm getting emails left and right, and I'm like, what does digital rights mean? So it's been a huge learning curve. It's kind of full circle moment now that we are getting us back for fall of 23 when I started in fall of 2020. So full circle moment on the digital rights.
I have a question about the new edition of Kersner. If we have some instructors, and we do, in, for example, high school dual credit, we have some that they like to buy a classroom set of textbooks. Or if we have students, diverse learners who prefer paper, is that book going to be available in print?
Yes,
Yes.
it will be available in like, again, print, digital, ebook, what it will be like, it will be fully available.
Okay.
Is it one of those things where you get the inclusive access, and then if a student wants print, they get a loose leaf?
A loose leaf upgrade.
Just being honest, I actually don't know how that program works, so I'm gonna go with yes. 'Cause I
Matt Nicole says yes.
Okay.
Yes. that is the goal, is to be able to get the loose leaf upgrades. Previously, Ronnie Watkins wasn't a huge fan of the loose leaf upgrades, but that has potentially changed with the new with Nick being in charge. So we haven't had anybody that has been super interested in the loose leaf upgrades. So if that's something going forward that we want to look at, we've never done that with Cengage at this location, but we do it everywhere. So definitely.
Usually not very many students are interested in that in the classes I've been teaching, but the ones that want it, it's a big help for them, and it's frustrating when they're not able to.
Yeah.
You know.
Lots of learners like to have a hard copy. That's something that we have encountered when we're on campus right now. I want the hard book, and with the paper shortage, sometimes you can't get the hard book. So
Yeah.
I understand that definitely.
I have a question about a couple of things in the presentation. One is, I have been forwarding my setup from semester to semester with wonderful John's help. And so it's been a while since I saw the actual setup for the Just-in-Time Plus, and I was just looking at how it appeared on the screen up there. Is that a new organization where you've got those folders? That's how it was before? I just took them out of all the folders. Okay. And then I was wondering about that. My other question is about the peer mark settings and the insight assignments. So is that available now? Because I tried to do peer review a couple of semesters ago, and there wasn't any real availability of the peer mark.
Thank you.
Yes, it is available now. We do have a faculty partner that uses it extensively, and I'm sure, like, I'll be blunt, I'm not an expert on using it, but we can connect you with that faculty partner. And
That would be fabulous.
okay, Lindsay, I'll try to get that name to you.
Yes.
Remind me. So just a heads up, everyone, I'm taking off immediately after this for a long weekend, but Lindsay will remind me on Monday to get this to her.
Super. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Anything else? Questions?
We have some current lines after. So. Any questions or comments?
Not on the presentation, I have something specific to my. But when I want to see if you can troubleshoot, but not stuff is great.
Okay.
I know Mackenzie is also a faculty partner for Cengage. Actually, we've used her more in the past whenever we were doing more Cengage at South Plains College. Hopefully we can get her back doing more Cengage here in the future. But if nobody has more questions, I'm gonna let Valerie and Matt go, and you guys can just be stuck with me and Nicole and Lindsay for a little bit. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. It was
Thank you.
nice
Have
seeing
a
you
great
all.
weekend, everyone.
Sorry you missed the croissants.
So are we.
Bye.